Hey guys, this is Matt of the DVD Update here for another video. Today we're going to be reviewing the horror movie It that just came out, I should say. I have two people here with me. Adam, go ahead and say
hi. My name's Adam.
That's Adam. And Ethan.
This is Ethan.
And we saw It tonight, and we're going to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Alright, go ahead.
I liked it. I mean, it was more than what I thought it was going to end up being. I thoroughly enjoyed it for what it was, and
I'll have to agree with that. There's some things that annoy me a little bit, but hey, that's just going to happen. With the source material, because I like the source material,
Yeah.
Like, what are some of the things that you dislike then?
Well, in terms of the actual movie,
Right.
there were a couple of scenes of pretty questionable CGI that I wasn't a big fan of.
Right.
I mean, it was still passable, but for a big budget Hollywood movie, it was kind of like, it looked almost a couple years old by this point. And parts of it felt a little rushed. Like, you're splitting it into two movies, and I know that there are some things that you have to cut out because it won't make sense anymore in terms of like the time frame that they set it in, because they did have a time difference from the book and from the old movie. Right. And then there are some things where it's just like, we can't put that in there, like the little kid orgy scene in the sewer. That wasn't in there.
I remember.
For valid
That's
reasons.
unfortunate.
But then there were other things where, like, there were characters that they cut out that, sure, they were superfluous, they weren't necessary, but they would have helped to kind of tie some of the stuff a bit more, kind of flush out a bit more. Like, they kept on bringing up, like, Georgie and Bill's mom.
Right.
And she was in that one scene where she was playing piano at the very beginning of the movie.
And that was it.
And then she never showed up in the rest of the movie. There's that, and a lot of the really good scenes of Pennywise that, like, I mean, there were plenty of scenes where he was talking that really helped the character, but pretty much almost all of the big jump, like the Blumhouse kind of jump scares that they had, were shown in the trailer, so it's...
Right.
I didn't get to see most of the trailers or any of that stuff, but I always, from what I've seen, like, all the jump scares didn't really even get to me.
Yeah, me neither. I really didn't jump at all. People around us did.
We had a jumpy, like,
crowd.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were loud and they were jumpy.
Hey, that's good on them, though. I mean,
that's
kind of why you go to those movies, right?
Yeah, like, and you could tell, like, it was one of those things where, like, when they jumped, they were still enjoying themselves, because almost immediately after, it was just a wave of laughter through it. That which is good for.
And that goes on to another point. There's actually some pretty good comedic moments in it as well, which,
Yeah.
the Stranger Kids thing. The kid from Stranger Things, I should say.
Well, he was a strange kid, too.
He was a strange kid in that. He kind of reminded me of myself. Always talking about sex and shit, even though I was a virgin. Growing up and shit, one of the things that also, I don't know, I just didn't like the way he moved. Especially in the scene where we already saw from the trailer, where Georgie is saying, what is he repeating?
Oh, you'll float too?
Yeah, and then his head comes up out of the water, right? And then he, like, shimmies at fast pace.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know.
Like, I don't know. Like, to be fair, like, as a tying into that, I thought Skarsgård was really good.
Right.
As Pennywise. And he wasn't the same as
oh man, now
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry, there you go.
He didn't play the same character. Tim Curry came across more as an evil clown. Skarsgård came across more as a creature. No, because he clearly, like, there were scenes where you could clearly tell where it's like he would be in character and then kind of lose himself or forget what he was doing. Like, there were scenes, like, in the very beginning when he's talking to Georgie, and he just stops talking, and it looks like he kind of spaces out, like he's trying to figure out what he's supposed to do next. Or there's times where he would be talking, and he'd have, like, the funny voice, and then he'd suddenly drop down to that deep voice.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I actually was with you earlier and stuff with how he moved. I didn't like it at first, but looking back and thinking about it, I actually kind of do like how he moved, because a comparison that I heard a lot from like in the how he was described in the book, everything was that when he was Pennywise or when he was any of the other forms, that was more of like a puppet or a marionette kind of thing. Yeah. So you then
get that feel later on,
because there were scenes where like it would look like he's not even touching the ground and his limbs are just kind of flopping around. Right. And it's, I mean, if you don't go into it looking like that, if you're just going in, it's like, okay, this is a monster clown and stuff. Yeah, it looks pretty stupid. Like he looks like he's spazzing out or something. But if you look at it like in the deeper kind of like, this is supposed to be something out of this world, something like eldritch horror kind of thing, then it kind of helps it a bit. I don't know if it's fully fixes it or fully like justifies the movements, but I thought it was passable for that. So
I feel you.
Yeah. I don't know, some people do get kind of creeped out about the weird contorting, undulating limbs and stuff. Right. Though I've know a couple people that get kind of weirded out by that. For me, it's not that so much, though. I'm not really. I didn't really feel scared during the movie, to tell you the truth. Yeah. For a horror movie.
Well, like the scene where you were talking about the contortion, like, are you talking about when he was coming out of the fridge and stuff?
Well, there's that.
Because that was one of the scenes where I was talking about where it was like the really questionable looking CGI.
Oh yeah,
because that was probably one of the scenes that looked the worst out of it. Like I got what they were going for and stuff.
The worst scene probably was whenever the trailer came down for the girl that was trying to escape. I can't remember her name. But when he started dancing around and you seen his head, it just seemed like he was floating there.
Oh, when he's in the carnival
set,
and he's doing the dance. And
but that's kind of...
But that was supposed to look derpy.
That was setting, yeah.
Like, that wasn't actually supposed to look like, oh my god, that was supposed to be like,
It's par for the course, if you will, right?
Yeah, but
I understand,
it just feels bad to me. It felt like a really horrible...
Yeah. I don't know what they're gonna do with the bully. Like, the bully. Because he always played a big deal, like in the book and in the old story. But there was a pretty definitive, like, okay, he just got caught or left behind in those.
Right.
He got pushed down a well in that.
He was like hitting sides. He was going down. Right. He's pretty much dead.
Like, if he's not, then it's not going to be really threatening when like a paraplegic comes rolling up and goes, you crippled me and now it's time to die.
Although that being said, I think one of the creepiest things one of the scariest things that I found in the movie was his how he killed his father with a I don't know why it is, but it's always that kind of stuff with me. Whenever you put like a needle to somebody's eye or cutting somebody's tendon,
that was definitely like a pretty visceral kill. That was something I did appreciate with the movie. They didn't shy away from the violence like the old special did.
Yeah,
or almost all the kills happened off screen. Right. This one, I mean, opening scene, Georgie gets his arm bit off.
Exactly, that was awesome. Right?
And they show.
I do give it credit for that, especially whenever it's like like a kid. Yeah. Like they normally don't show that nowadays. Kids get
especially nowadays, because they used to be A-okay, like especially Stephen King. Well, I'm going to scare the hell out of you, and Steamroller comes and runs you.
So kudos on that.
Yeah, I appreciate that they didn't go over the top with the gore. Like they could have easily, with a lot of it, they could have easily done. And I mean, they had it. Like there was definitely some gore to it, but it wasn't over the top level. It was okay, believable and stuff. That wasn't the point of why you were supposed to be scared.
Out of scenes that are from the old one, two that I missed, which I wish they would have brought back, is in the library. Although I guess maybe that happened in the second half of the 90s TV one, so maybe they will bring it back. The balloon that explodes of blood.
That was when they were adults.
Right, so okay, there's that. So and I guess this might actually happen when they're adults too, so, but I wanted the kid to bring out his inhaler. Spray it in the face.
This is battery acid, you slime.
Exactly. Spray it right in the face. His face melts or something.
Yeah, like they kind of played to that. Like that was one of the things that I felt like they updated, because before that was, if you believe this is battery acid, it'll be battery acid.
Right.
And this one, it's the gun wasn't loaded, but he believed that the gun was loaded, so it still was able to fire.
Go Dream Warriors.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, the marquee at the theater, it said Lethal Weapon 2 at first.
It was Lethal Weapon 2 and Batman.
And then later on it was Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5.
Yeah.
Which I think is Dream Child or some shit? I have a standing there somewhere.
I don't know, but I was going to have to check that out.
It's somewhere. Actually, if Part 4 was the Dream Master, so I'm pretty sure Part 5 was Dream Child.
I think so.
Yeah.
That which is definitely a good call, because I did definitely get a lot of like Nightmare on Elm Street kind of vibes from this, with the definite, if you don't fear him, he can't hurt you, but he feeds off the fear.
Exactly, and uses your fears against you, if you will.
So, I mean, I definitely got like that kind of feel, so I thought that was a neat little kind of callback and stuff. And it just kind of helped immerse you in that time. Because, I mean, Batman and Lethal Weapon 2, I was just like, I know what I'm going to do when I get home tonight. I'm going to watch Batman and Lethal Weapon 2. But they did actually a lot of really good like background scene, like really kind of building up the town of Derry.
Exactly. That's something the first one really didn't delve too much into.
Because they were focusing on the kids and the adults. Exactly. But then everything else felt empty.
Yeah,
this one,
a solid backstory.
They definitely like they would just have like random stuff happening in the background, and that just helped make the town feel like an actual town.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And when he saw license plate, he said Maine. That's where.
Well, that's Stephen King's like default.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much all of his movies take place.
With
real fictitious town.
Unless it's The Stand, in which case you're going to Las Vegas. Everybody.
Like I said, me. Whenever I see a license plate, I'm like, is it Illinois?
Yeah, that's true. And then what was the one we saw that was an Illinois one?
It was O. Henry.
No, Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Yeah,
I think that's Chicago.
I thought it was. That was in Chicago, I think.
It's kind of funny, but also not. On the scene where they're spitting loogies off of the... we were talking beforehand about Jeepers Creepers 3.
Yeah.
And that scene reminded me... I was like, oh, is Victor Salva directing this? When they're tidy whities. Exactly. So I was like, I had to bite my tongue on that one. So
that was something I noticed when that scene happens, because they are, like, all the boys are in, like, tidy whities. Right. And then she shows up and she undresses. And it's not like she's naked or anything. Right. But, like, you could hear throughout the entire theater, like, people like, really? And it's just like, they were disgusted by it.
Right.
Well, like, the last time I seen anything like that, I think was, like, Stand By Me.
That was a good because that's a Stephen King for one. But for two, like the kids definitely felt a lot like the Stand By Me kids, except there was a killer clown in this one and not just a floating body.
I think that might have been a homage to earlier stuff as well.
Well, I mean that's just the general time frame.
Right? Yeah,
true.
That was around the time, like 9 times out of 10, you did just go swimming in like your underwear, like you didn't really have a swimsuit. Unless you were going somewhere like the beach or something.
Like nowadays to get away with it.
Yeah.
And movies. Like going back and putting, like, this is something from a movie that was a Stephen King book.
Yeah.
And then this one, just referencing. But like you said.
For me, I thought they did a better job focusing on some of the other characters, but then dropped the ball on some of them. And, like, I do not remember all the characters' names. So I feel bad about it. But the black kid got, like, the shaft throughout the whole...
he sure did.
I think I leaned over the man and I was like, they forgot about the black kid.
Yeah, there were, like, there were, like, large chunks where there was just nothing with him. And then he just... It's the homeschool kid.
Yeah, he's a homeschool kid.
And then he's in, like, a couple scenes, and then he's like, oh, I'm bailing out, guys.
Right.
And then, there was... they definitely fleshed out the kid who... had the overbearing mom and they definitely did
Jewish
a lot more with him. The Jewish kid so much, but Beverly they definitely flushed out a whole lot more, which I think was good. I mean, it wasn't to the point of like pushing it too far or being overbearing, but it was definitely like you're the only girl in the entire movie that actually like matters.
Right.
We need you to actually do something. Sure. And she did. She felt like she was one of the more solidifying forces. Like normally everybody would question like Bill and stuff, and then the power of the vagina shone through, and she was just like, hey, guys, we need to do this. And then pretty much everybody's like, we should do this.
Yeah, right.
And like you could definitely tell like
it was
all the guys were like half of the reason why they did half the stuff was just because
it was a woman.
Well, she took her clothes off in front of me,
right,
so I need and two of them made sense. Like there was Bill and there was
other guy.
The chubby kid.
Yeah, Chunk kid. Chunk. We can call him Chunk.
Yeah, it's do the truffle shot.
They always call him like a new kid.
Yeah.
The new kid.
Yeah, the new kid on the block. That's his name, right? Yeah, new kid's on the block.
I was actually really happy that they did keep in the scene where he got the H carved into his stomach.
So they didn't do on the made-for-TV movie, you know, they didn't go too far into it. They just kind of popped his. And then all the kids were like, "Oh, what is he doing? Why is he doing that?" Looking worried. Only one kid in this one looked worried. The others were like into it and shit.
Yeah, the other ones were just like,
yeah, get him.
Well, there was always like in the scene where he got like carved up and stuff. There was that one thinner blonde guy. He looked worried, but then when like he was like later on when he gets a gun and he's just like, and there's our other target, and it was a cat, and the whole theater was like immediately worried. Like they were on edge. They're like, are they gonna kill the cat? But like then the fat kid, who I think he was supposed to be Belch, because they named like he was a named character in the book, and then they actually like called him Belch in the old movie. Okay. So I think he was supposed to be Belch. Like he seemed like he didn't really want to, but at the same time, Henry had a gun.
Yeah, right.
Just like, well, I'm not going to stand up to you now. But there was definitely a sense of I don't know how I got here from. The carving of the H.
Right, there we go.
The fat kid got the crap beaten out of him, like more so than any other.
Yeah, you got
like he was constantly getting slashed. Like he got the claw. He got the H. There was that one fence spike that he got slashed through. Like the only other like main kid who, well, there were two that got like legitimately hurt where it was like a clear mark.
Was the guy that broke his arm.
Placebo. He
broke his arm. That was actually, I thought, was a pretty good scene when he held up his arm.
Held up and it's just
kind of flopping there, and then they snap it back in the spot. It's like he didn't dislocate. You can't really
see like
it was clearly just kind of flopping there, like halfway.
Right.
So you can't really snap that back into place. Right. That's not how that works. And then the Jewish kid, when like he gets bit later on in the movie, so then he has like the teeth marks
on the other side
in the side of his That was something I liked. How they made Pennywise like a bit more monstrous and stuff. Right. Where it was, I'm trying to think of a good comparison, but it was basically just gums with just random teeth, like all the way down.
It kind of looked like a shark. Like
almost like a goblin shark or something, kind of.
Sarlacc pit.
Oh yeah, it's digested over 1,000 years.
Nope, 27.
They did a lot with. I was surprised because they got rid of a lot of like the mystical stuff from the book and stuff, but they kept the deadlights in it because they were really featuring the deadlights in a couple of scenes, which I'm for. I like that aspect. Sure. So I'm waiting for like the turtle that made the universe to show up in the second one. And overall, they're like out of the main characters, at least, there was no character that I thought was done poorly out of the main characters.
True. Yeah, I would have to agree with that.
I thought actually all the kid actors were really good. Oh yeah. Even Georgie, who didn't really have that many scenes, and the majority of the scenes he did have were "You'll Float" too.
Right. Same line.
But he sold it. Like, he was a good actor. I liked it. And they did build a lot more on... Like, one of the things from, like, the book that I didn't quite like, and a little bit of the old movie, was the book pretty much basically, like, it almost alluded to the adults actually knew what was going on.
Kind of like a Freddy situation.
Yeah. While in the older movie, the TV movie,
right.
it was alluded that the adults had a vague notion that things were going, like they knew stuff was wrong, but they didn't know what, and they were choosing just not to talk about it. This one was more so, it felt more like the adults, not even all the adults, but it felt like a lot of the adults were just scummy. But they were just scummy because they were just scummy, not because there was an evil in the town
like
of Derry.
Superman and Lois Lane.
It was like a...
Yeah.
I was like,
for a little while, because they called him Dr. King.
Oh, did they really? I didn't catch that.
And I was like, is that Stephen King? Because it sounded kind of like him. And I was like, man, if you had a mustache right now, I would know for sure. But I didn't want to... I didn't want to immediately pinpoint, just because it was like...
And I guess the main bully's dad.
Yeah, and then of course the girls.
Well, they didn't really have a lot of scenes with the bully's dad, where like you could get that. I mean, he didn't seem like the best kind of guy,
right?
But at the same time, I wouldn't necessarily call him scummy for what he was doing, because I mean, he did walk up on his kid who said, "I'm going to polish your gun, Dad," and then walked up on his kid, basically telling one of his friends, "Hold that cat there so I can shoot it. I won't miss." And then the dad, it's not the dad popped the gun right next to the kid's head.
That's
like,
true,
I want to watch you squirm. He shot it in the ground. That would, again, it's scummy, but...
Right.
Just the way he kind of recoiled made it seem like he has been...
They kind of alluded to that.
Yeah. I mean, like... I could see how that can kind of...
Definitely Beverly's dad, they went a lot more with the pedo route.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Because the old movie... He was just kind of like, he was a jerk.
Yeah.
This one was definitely like...
He said that daddy's girl line like once back then.
And then like when he was climbing on top, he said, "Don't they know?
Yeah, don't they know?
That you're mine." It was like, oh.
No. Next scene, please.
Oh, no. That was like one of the scenes where I actually felt like uncomfortable just from like the notion of it. It was just like, oh, no. Like, one of the things that I didn't like, there was a lot of, like, repetitive lines that felt like they didn't need to be repetitive.
Like you'll float kind of stuff?
No, that was necessary.
That kind of
because that's in the book.
Right.
And, like, that was only vaguely in the book, if I remember right.
Oh,
but
really?
that was, like, one of the big things from the movie that everybody remembers was we all float down here.
Right.
So they altered it. I mean, they didn't go cheesy with they all float. But that was definitely... But then there's like, it's summer. We should be outside having fun. And it's like, all right.
Yeah, they bring that up.
You don't have to be outside.
Right.
Your whole plan was to be in the arcade the whole summer playing Street Fighter. That kind of like piss you that the kid was in the...
I know. Oh, you're interested in reading and knowing about our town. Well, maybe
you would think that she'd be like, oh, all right. But instead she was just like, shouldn't you be somewhere?
That could lead to the notion that they might know something, though. If they don't want the kid delving too deep into the history. Yeah,
but like for a while, I almost when he was looking at, like, I don't know if you noticed it, but when he was looking, they kept like showing a back view. The back view, she was there. She was looking creepy. We thought she was it.
Exactly.
Like I feel really disingenuous bringing that up now.
Yeah, I know. After we reviewed the last 9 seconds of the video that just cut out. But yeah, I noticed that too. That the creepily staring in the background there.
I missed it. Like I said, I missed it totally.
It's easily missable.
The Tim Curry, the picture. If like we didn't get that in there, there was the doll in the room, and then there was the picture. You said that
was in the trailer, right?
Well, the doll was like they show him like going into the room, and there's the dolls, and you see like the Pennywise doll like real quick. The picture frame, not so much. Like, you don't see the picture frame, or at least I didn't see it. I think one of the things that really kind of took me out at the very beginning of the movie, the trailers for the movie.
The trailers, yeah.
Because there was literally only one horror movie trailer that we got.
Oh, yeah, the trailer. I thought you meant the trailers for it coming up to the release, but you mean before the showing tonight.
While we were at the movie.
There was 2 horror trailers, I would believe, right? Or 3?
Was there 3?
The Unfriended Clone.
Oh, the friend request.
Right.
That which still weirds me out.
Happy Death Day, or fucking
that's
Groundhog Day.
That's more of a thriller,
right? Well, no, they're going to market it as a horror for sure.
Yeah.
There's one more. What was that third one? I had never seen it before.
Oh, it was one with what's her face from the Hunger Games.
Mother.
Yeah, from the Hunger Games.
That which I am excited to see.
No, I will check that out. I didn't look decent.
Because that one looked good and all the trailers. I mean, I like Black Swan and everything.
True.
So
Black Swan was pretty good.
And this one definitely had a much more kind of creepy feel. Right. I mean, it won't have my enthusiasm at there's a lesbian sex scene between Mila Kunis and Natalie Portman. I mean, it's but it does have Jennifer Lawrence, which
I mean, that's a win.
Yeah,
right. But not to get too off topic with that, but yeah, we would expect more horror movie trailers to be at the beginning of this movie,
or at least they're really more,
especially since October is coming up.
Yeah.
But I haven't really checked into,
or at least like I said, or at least like serious movies. There was a lot of
comedies like Bad Moms 2.
Wait, there's the second one?
That is the second one.
Bad Moms 2, yeah.
It's the Christmas one.
The reason I watched it is because Mila Kunis and Kristen Bell was in it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I'm not gonna. I was getting ready to go off topic when you brought.
Oh no, do you not like Kristen Bell?
No, I really like Kristen.
Okay, yeah, but we'll get back since we have 10 minutes probably left now.
Yeah,
we'll get back onto it.
And then they'll let down when you looked it up at the end after the movie.
Oh yeah, I always like to see what's after the credits.
Like we were spoiled, and you found out that it was only
Pennywise laughing.
Him laughing, and
right?
It's just like, well, we already know.
I mean, it'd be cool. I understand if it's Pennywise laughing, or like it's a shot on the tunnel we felt.
And then you just see like his hand come up,
right, or some dust, and he laughs. Something visual, rather than just audio type.
But instead, it's like it already gave away because before the credits roll, it says it chapter 1.
Chapter 1, right?
So we already know there's going to be a sequel. So it's not like your sequel
exactly.
Something I just thought of that I thought was that I think was a neat touch is you'll float too. We all float down here. And when they get to his lair and they look up and you see the kids actually floating.
Yeah.
I liked that. I thought that was a neat kind of actually playing to it.
Oh, what about the cheesy? Well, this is another cheese part I forgot that I didn't really like. You know, the Cinderella or the Sleeping Beauty kiss, if you will, where the kid kisses her and then she's out.
I was
like,
that was
because I thought it didn't work, and I was like, that.
I would have liked it if it did work, and then like Bill just shows up and she
Bill does it. Bill.
That would like. I kind of got like weird mixed feelings because it's like she knows who wrote the poem
exactly,
but then when Bill comes and kisses her, she seems like super enthused.
She's into it.
She was just like, about time.
Yeah, right.
And it was just like,
in the 90s one, I think she doesn't even tell the guy that she knew it was him until
they're adults,
version. Right?
Like it's implied that she doesn't even really tell him, but she kind of implies that like she had figured it out. But that's also the scene that has like one of the best lines for "Kiss me, fat boy."
Right.
That was I love that scene. That was my ringtone for a long while.
That was a good ringtone.
But where would you, in terms of, like, how would you rate Skarsgård then? Like, did you think he was good?
I would say I did like him except for those few things, which I can understand after you said your points. I mean, he actually surprised me. You know, I didn't know how he was going to be. I figured he probably just going to be meh type of act, but he actually pulled it off pretty well. And then what did you think? I know you might not have seen the original 90s
I've seen it. It's
compare,
been a little while.
What did you think of this guy that was played Pennywise? I mean,
I didn't find it to be too scary. Like I mean,
right.
As the original, I think that I'd seen it when I was younger. I haven't re-seen it recently to compare it, give a just comparison. Yeah. But I feel like it was much more scary when Tim Curry was.
Well, see, like
Tim Curry's awesome.
Real recent. Well, it's Tim Curry.
We're not saying that.
He makes because I went back and rewatched the old one.
I did that a couple months ago as well. I watched
like last week.
Oh, okay. Fresh in your mind then.
And Tim Curry is legitimately the only thing that makes the movie watchable.
Well, I like John Ritter too, but
I mean, like that actually has like full on. There are people who do good performances in the movie, but Tim Curry makes the movie. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but I mean, I would actually see. I love Tim Curry in about anything he does. I liked Bill Skarsgård more as Pennywise, solely because he actually seemed like he was going for like a genuine creepy kind of feel, while Tim Curry too often than not he tended to fall into jokey,
right?
Because you have Prince Henry in a can? Well, you do. You better let him out. It's just stuff like that. And, I mean, like, no matter what, like, if I had a choice, like, if somebody's like, well, I have both versions of it, which one do you want to watch? I will pick the Tim Curry one.
Yeah.
Solely because Tim Curry, like, I liked Bill Skarsgård as a creature, but I just like Tim Curry.
Yeah.
And so there's that.
Do you think that for the adult version that they're going to handle the spider better?
God. What?
Hope so.
Yeah, I hope so.
Like, I hope, like, as long as they don't rush it, because I think that's the thing that really hurt the old one, is just like, and then suddenly a spider.
Right.
And then they just casually beat it up and rip out its heart. Like, they definitely, I think they'll handle it better. The only thing that I'm really not looking forward to in Chapter 2 is we won't have the kids.
Right.
So it's not like you can go in and be like, yeah, they're all going to do good performances again. Because the only person who will legitimately, truly be coming back is Skarsgård. But here's hoping. Like, it clearly shows. You can't blame
the bad performances on them being kids anymore either.
They weren't bad.
Well, they weren't bad.
No, I'm just saying, if they had bad performances, you can't say that.
Right.
Oh, okay. It's not like it. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's true.
Depending on when this comes out, I mean, it could legitimately, they put it off so long so the kids
can come out. That's what I was going to ask next. Does anybody know when it's coming out?
Well, no. I mean, the movie just came out, so I don't think there's any hard date.
Right.
I doubt that they're even in development yet. Yeah. Like, it's probably, like, they knew they were going to have a sequel.
Oh, yeah, they knew it.
Like,
everything
no way.
has a sequel nowadays.
Well, not everything.
True.
Dark Tower won't have a sequel. Dark Tower kind of was a sequel. But, because it references the books. But, then where would you rate this, Stephen King movie? Where would you rate this? Like,
that's
how would you...
Because there's so many, and I love the cheesy ones, even though they're not good. So, I don't know, man. Where are you putting it?
Like, if I were to give it, like, a scale of, like, 1 to 10 or something like that, I would do more... Yeah, because it's hard, because then you have to go through every single movie.
Through the titles, right? You can't say, oh, I placed it above this one or below this one. But yeah, 1 to 10 will be good. Let's see. I'm trying to think.
I would do, like, a 7 to 8, because I did think it was one of the really strong ones. Okay. It probably won't stick with me as well as some of the others, but it definitely was clearly one of the better ones, I think.
I did like it, and horror is drying up in the theaters anyway, so
too much Blumhouse.
That helps up the score. I'm thinking about a 7 maybe, or 6.5.
Yeah.
You know?
I was going to say 6.5 for me, because I feel like there's much more stronger...
So I'm highballing the movies.
Well, I find myself that if I want to rewatch a Stephen King movie, I would want to go watch Stand By Me. Or
Maximum Overdrive. I just got that actually back there.
I don't know. For some reason, I like Stand By Me as one. That's
a good one. Like that. But that's kind of one of those ones where you have to rank that one different.
Right.
Like the ones that are serious,
kind of
like drama.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, like there you got like parts of it where it's kind of like depressing, like, oh yeah, this guy he was going to go become a lawyer, stepped in line, and then
he got shot.
It's just like, well, that kind of sounds like real life, kind of.
Well, that was the point. But that's when he stopped doing drugs, even. So, but yeah, I would still definitely put it like higher up there, and like now that you brought that in terms of the horror movie, like or the ones that have horror elements. So counting things like Desperation or Misery and stuff like that. There are definitely ones that he's done in terms of horror movies that I like better, that I think were better. Case in point, Misery. Misery was just meh. It was great. Salem's Lot for me. Like we've talked about that enough, though. Salem's Lot is just my...
I'll have to do a double feature on that.
It's my jam.
I haven't seen The Return to in forever.
I've never seen it. You know that.
We can do that.
I've seen double feature. Watched that a couple times.
We're gonna have to now, like I brought up before. We're gonna have to just go through each one, long periods of time between each one, because you're the one who's editing.
All right. Yeah, this is gonna. I actually might have this up. I have a video that's dropping this Friday, so I might have some editing to do.
That one, have you missed Friday's date?
No, I have it already uploaded in the schedule, but you don't have to worry about that. Will you own it? Home video it?
Yeah.
Legally.
Well, yeah.
Of course, everything's legal here. Yeah, I probably will get it on Blu-ray because I just do that kind of stuff.
Always do.
You won't.
I don't.
You don't do anything like that. So,
I've definitely had a much bigger influx.
In terms of rewatchability, I think it has some. So that's probably why I will get it. Plus, I already have every other Stephen King movie, so why not?
I don't think it would be like one where I would constantly.
Yeah, definitely
not. Like Adam said, I would rather watch the Tim Curry one over again.
Yeah.
Over again.
Like this one, maybe if you, for whatever reason, if you absolutely adore this version, maybe like if you want to constantly watch it like once a year at most, and that's still pushing it.
Right.
Like I would say like it wouldn't hurt to occasionally just throw it in and watch it. You'll enjoy it yourself.
Right.
Would it be a constant watch?
Oh, no. But see, now what if they bring out extended, unrated? They're going to probably try to pull that bullshit.
I hope not, because half the time whenever they do an unrated thing, most of the time those are movies that weren't strong enough to stand on their own in the first place.
I mean, like,
and this movie was strong enough to stand on its own. Like they could literally not make the second one.
Well, we'll be interested if they get deleted any or cut any scenes due to for time. That might be interesting. That could be.
Or they might have made like a scene that's too gruesome or something. Like
I would like to see the cut portions, leaving the concepts. Scenes, whenever they go through, and some of it's not even just drawn out.
Yeah. Like, it's definitely, like you said, there's definitely rewatchability to the movie.
Exactly.
I would definitely say, yeah, I would happily watch the movie again.
Mm-hmm, me too.
It's definitely worth, but, I mean, it's also, I thought this was a really good theater movie.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I definitely would say, like, even if you're wanting to wait, even if you don't want to spend the really high amount, like, because it was expensive to just watch like a matinee showing of it. Sure. It's definitely
like if we would have went at 11 a.m. today, we could have got in for $5 and 69 cents.
I mean, I felt that it was worth the money that we spent. Like, I did not think it was a bad movie to where it's like I don't think the money was worth it. But I do definitely say that it is worth watching if you are able to see it at a cheaper price, though. Go for that.
Yeah, like, if you're going for scary, then I'm not saying that. Just for me, it wasn't too scary.
I don't get scared, but I can't say that either because I don't get scared really.
Well, I mean,
anymore,
you're kind of professional.
Exactly. All right. Thanks for Adam for joining me on this video, and Ethan over here. Maybe they'll stop by again, hopefully soon. Who knows? But this is Matt, or the DVD update. As always, comment, rate, subscribe, do what you do, and I'll see you when I see you.
Quick, in case it didn't get the Bill Curry, not Bill Curry, Tim Curry.
Bill Curry.
That Bill Curry.
Bill Murray and
Bill Murray.
Fuck.
No.
All right, we're live.
5,
let's do this.
4, 3, 2.
Well, he already said we're live.
So we can see. Yeah, exactly. So I can see when the fucking camera cuts out again. All right, Ethan, your new job is to fucking look at the LCD. All right, see when it goes black. Although we're plugged in now, it should be good. All right, let's pick up where we left off. We were talking about the librarian. Are we done with that? Pretty much. Boom.
Yeah.
I wonder how.